Many people have asked me, what is the most I've spent on a Lego set? Well, this box will answer that question. But first, I think it's worth going through down memory lane and seeing what exactly I've bought to reach up to this high tier. So join me in this video as we just sit down, unbox, and talk about my journey buying expensive Lego. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's jump right into this. So, starting off with this, we'll cut off the seal, like so. So, I want to give a very huge shout out to my buddy Keegan. This video quite literally would not be possible without you. And I just want to dedicate a huge thank you. Seriously, he is the GOAT. Everybody starts somewhere with collecting Lego, whether it be being given a gift or walking into a store and thinking, hey, that looks like a cool item. And then, as that hobby grows, they realize they want to get something unique. Well, what counts as unique varies from person to person, especially for me. For me, one of my first ever exclusive rarities that I added to my collection was this CMF. I got it a few months after Series 22 released. I was in a local toy shop, just going through a fresh case of CMFs, and I came across this. Obviously, if it isn't obvious enough already, this is a miscut packaging. Now, of course, when I saw this, I stopped what I was doing and took this to the till and paid about $6 for this. This was one of my first ever rarity items, expensive Lego, if you will. This is when I was just kind of casually in the hobby, not really delving much into exclusives. And it has been a pretty cool piece of my collection to date. Now, of course, as I researched more into that and many other exclusives, I began to hunger for more. Something more show-worthy, if you will. And I had my heart set on adding something unique. So off I went to Brickworld Chicago, where, lo and behold, I came across what would be the next addition to my rarity collection. And if, you aren't aware, I really upped the game from $6 to $550 US, if I remember correctly, with the San Diego Comic-Con Throne of Ultron. This was released alongside the movie year, to my understanding, and yeah, I think these are limited to like 1,500, maybe 1,000. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. All I know is I am the lucky owner of 315. And it has been a very cool addition to my collection. I have kept the original price tag on it, even though, I paid $50 US less. And bringing this home from Brickworld Chicago was spectacular for me. I was so overjoyed. But like any Lego collector, it's never enough. So on I went, looking for more to add to my collection, for rarities. And, of course, when you feel comfortable paying $500 US, you think, okay, what's a little bit more? So then you start researching more and more, and you're like, oh, there's nothing all too much that piques my interest. So then your buddy, Keegan, hits you up, and he's like, I'm selling a set. Would you like to buy it? And then I say, oh, give me a price, and we can work out something. And he gave me a price of, I believe, $800. and I also now own an exclusive Brickheads. This is not the only exclusive Brickheads in my collection, but it is definitely the most expensive. This was also a Comic-Con exclusive. New York Comic-Con to be exact, number 1605. And I believe this is out of 2000. Again, I can correct myself where need be. I already own a Boba Fett Brickheads, but hey, it was one of those moments where, sure, why not? And of course, if you're okay saying sure, why not, you start thinking about all the other exclusives that you could add. And what other exclusives are there that are unique outside of Comic-Con? Because anybody could fork out any amount of money on a Comic-Con. But how many go beyond that? How many show off that they got beyond that? Not many, in my opinion. And so, thanks again to Keegan. In June of 2024, a eBay listing was purchased under his name and was thrown into my pile of other oddities and rarities that I was purchasing off of him over time. He knew how much I really wanted this item because I wouldn't shut up about it. And so he offered one day while I was at work. We were texting back and forth. He said, I can make an offer to the seller and we can just work out the details between us after. So there was two options. We could get one that was, by technicality, fully complete for approximately a price around, I believe at the time, it was like 3,500 Canadian. And I was like, ooh, that's a bit much. Going from $6 to $5.50 American, and then to $800. That's quite the jump. So we were humming and hawing, and then we noticed another listing. One that didn't 100% count as complete, but nonetheless was cheaper. And the thing is, with Comic-Cons or just limited items, there's a certain amount of them in the world, hence why certain ones are worth more. This one was one of a kind, in a way, in my opinion. And so when we looked at this other listing, I think it was about $1,000 cheaper, give or take, I think. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head. I was just overjoyed at the opportunity to work my butt off to get this very, very exclusive item. And for those of you who don't know, growing up, I've had one consistent childhood hero who I have loved to death and will literally buy anything with his face on it. And just very much nostalgia related. Where was I going with this? Well, of course, when given the opportunity, I dropped 2,600 Canadian, give or take, to buy a one-of-a-kind item for my collection. Rarity collection. The most I've spent on a Lego set. Now, I'm sure once I unwrap the bubble wrap here, you guys might not know what this is. So, let me give some backstory before we unwrap this. How many of you guys are familiar with the Brickhead? I'm pretty sure you all are. Now, these guys have been filling up everyone's collections over time, I'm sure. But what about their origins? What if I told you that they were possibly, speculatively speaking, inspired by one Imagineer's design, who LEGO actually hired to produce certain sets or items for them? In case you don't know, I'm talking none other about Angus MacLean, who worked at Pixar, for a long time on many films, my favorite of which being Lightyear. He also has some history. He was the original a submission designer for Lego Ideas, Wally, which, as I said, I'm actively trying to hunt down, but that's besides the point. He has an Instagram following, and he's got some pretty funny stuff. Yeah. But going back to brickheads, how many of you are familiar with Cube Dudes? Now, of course, some of you who are avid collectors are like, oh, Cube Dudes, yeah. They released 2 Comic-Con ones that were Star Wars based. That's all he did, right? And for the most part, yeah, if that's just base amount of knowledge in my book. But me, I do my homework. I go and I look for every little nitty-gritty thing. Now, I've already said I've spent over $2,000. Now, let me show you guys something that not a lot of people know. And that's one thing I love to show off and talk about, especially with this video, is things not everyone knows. And, there was a secret third. Well, not so secret, but there's a third Cube Dude. It actually predates the Star Wars Cube Dudes, if I'm not mistaken. In 2010, at a toy fair, 150 of this Cube Dude was given out to special people. So, may I present to you number 31 of 150 Cube Dude Buzz Lightyear. The rarest and most expensive Lego item in my collection. It is going to be the most treasured thing I have. And again, Keegan, this video would not be possible without him. He was the one who said, yeah, I'm going to buy it for you, and we can work out the details. And month by month, I was chipping away, paying this off, as well as other Lego items, like the Boba Fett. And just having this in my hands, because I remember in junior high, I would research stupid shit like this. And I always thought this would be so cool to see in person. And now here I am, holding it. It's one of a kind, and the only thing that slightly bums me out is the fact it doesn't come with the original box image on screen to make it complete. But for the sake of saving money, I said sure, because this was number 31, and the other listing I mentioned earlier, I think was number 50-something. Now, as of the time of this recording, there is another one of these currently available on eBay for around $6,000 Canadian with the box. That alone blows my mind, because, I mean, you could argue I could pay that, or sell this for that much, give or take, within a year. I don't know. With something like this where there's only 150 made, you could list it as high as you want, and all you can do is hope that some idiot with some amazing friend is willing to purchase it. So yeah, if anybody ever asks in the future, what is the most expensive Lego thing you have bought, or just rarest thing in general, I'm going to point them to this video, because I don't think I'm in any way, shape, or form I'm going to top this item. It is truly one of a kind, in my opinion, and I am all the more happy to have it in my collection. So anyways, without messing around with you guys any further, I hope you all enjoyed with this reveal. Let me know your comments and thoughts in the comments section down below. And don't worry, we'll be having a full analysis review coming soon to the channel. The first, hopefully, ever on YouTube. Yeah. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.